Georgia families trying to save their land from being ripped away for new railroad tracks.
So I think what they figured in the beginning is that we were going to just roll over.
And a car dealership pumps the brakes.
You know your brokerage license has been suspended.
Our brokerage license is suspended.
Shutting down after an Atlanta News First investigation. When systems fail, people pay the price. We trace the damage, expose the truth, and fight to fix it. This is Uncovered by Atlanta News First Investigates.
Georgia families fight to save their properties when a railroad company decides to run tracks right through their land.
This is a case of eminent domain, and it's one we've been following for years.
Okay.
Driving across their nearly 600 acres
Yeah, you can see a lot of little trees over there. You see the tops of them.
never gets old for Blaine and Diane Smith. The history just as rich as the timber crops they've been farming.
We used to go down there. It's a special rock that we like to sit on.
Blaine's enslaved ancestors lived and worked on this Sparta land. Now, he and his wife own the very property. The family among the less than 2% of black farmers nationwide.
My father farmed this land almost all of his life. My grandfather farmed it most of his life. He bought it back in the 1920s. During that time, he raised cotton, corn, peas, all kinds of vegetables. But it's still in the Smith family. Not one piece of it has gotten away.
Until this September. State leaders decided parts of the Sparta land are no longer theirs.
It's my property. You know, you don't have the right to take.
But a private company does have the right to take it, according to the unanimous vote from the Georgia Public Service Commission. The agency, comprised of 5 elected officials, oversees eminent domain. Eminent domain, the right of a government or its agent to appropriate private property for public use with payment of compensation. In Georgia, the process starts by first condemning the site. The Georgia PSC members agreed private company Sandersville Railroad could legally condemn 9 properties in Sparta, including parts of the Smiths, for the company's Hanson Spur project, a 4.5-mile spur connecting raw material producers to the CSX rail line in Hancock County. Essentially, hauling rocks that be used to build concrete. The company argues the train project will improve infrastructure, but the Smiths feel railroaded.
If you listen to the railroad folks, they say you're keeping your land. We're just taking a little piece of it. To me, we've got somebody who's coming through it like they are. They're devaluing it. They're defacing it. They're creating hazards through it.
They are just one of at least a dozen local eminent domain cases in recent years, from Atlanta to Newton County. Current statistics are few and fragmented, but Atlanta News First Investigates found nationwide data. A 2007 study revealed when eminent domain was used for private development, it most often impacted areas where more than half of the community was made up of people of color. Nearly half of the area's population sat below the poverty line. In the city of Sparta, where the developers are building the railroad, census records show 51% of residents live in poverty. The median income at $22,000.
You know, we're here in a county that really needs new opportunities, new job growth, new tax base.
The railroad company president, Ben Tarbutton.
Have an annual impact of $1.5 million.
That could make sense for a struggling town. It's how the company has pitched the project to residents. However, Georgia law states economic development is not a justifiable reason to take property.
It really is not supposed to be factored into an eminent domain case.
Well, they go hand in hand. I talk about jobs because that's what really matters to folks.
Tarbutton says the train would only travel 1 round trip per day, 5 days a week during daylight hours, that it would not be a nuisance to landowners.
They feel like you guys are robbing them of their family legacy, of their family land.
Well, you know, I understand that, and it's the condemnation process is a last resort. We have had multiple conversations with the landowners.
While several other property owners made deals with the company, 3 families are holding out, including the Smiths, in part over fears if they give up land now, the company could take even more.
Would you guys come back and take more land?
Well, I don't know exactly who you're talking to, but everyone I've dealt with as a landowner, we've had very constructive dialogue.
So would you take more land if you needed it?
No, we're very clear.
A claim the Smiths don't believe.
Because when they come and take that property, it's gone forever.
It's why the Institute for Justice now represents the families against the railroad.
The railroad's position is just that I'm a railroad. Obviously, I'm going to benefit you, and that's just not enough.
The attorney filed this appeal in Fulton County Superior Court, alleging the PSC improperly granted Sandersville's petition that the project is not economically feasible and may not be a legitimate public use.
What the railroad has shown is that this track, if it even comes about, is going to promote the profits and the cost reductions for a couple of private companies, and that's all.
The Institute for Justice is using this as a money-making venture for themselves.
Hundreds of acres for 100 years and one single lineage. Altering it in any way is a price of progress that's just too high for the Smiths.
I go back to what my father said, keep the land. The land gives you respect, gives you respectability. Everybody around here knows that this is the Smith land down here.
Sierra, the first time I saw this story, I love that family. The history, where do things stand now?
That family is really invested in the land, as you said. It's such rich history for so many in that community. This case ended up going to Fulton Superior Court, and a judge basically put a halt on things, saying, hey, you guys are going to have to fight this out in further courts in a longer appeal process, but while you're fighting it out, here's a stay. And a stay means the judge is telling both parties they can do nothing on the land in the interim. So that's where things are right now for both parties.
I was looking at that map and you just see how it just divides their land up. What about the other families? What can they do?
This is a part of a bigger attempt by the Institute for Justice. They believe because this topic has not been discussed in recent years by not just Georgia Supreme Court, but the U.S. Supreme Court, they feel like they can take this case all the way up the chain. So in the interim, while they're all waiting, the IJ plans to appeal to the state of Supreme Court here in Georgia. And if that doesn't work in their favor, they'll be waiting even longer and want to take the case up to the U.S. Supreme Court.
Great story. I know you will keep following it. I just really enjoyed it.
Thank you.
Atlanta News First investigators are exposing wrongdoing, solving your problems, and helping your family make ends meet. Scan the code on your screen to subscribe to our newsletter and get every story sent straight to your inbox.
Used car customers stuck with expired temporary tags. Atlanta News First investigates title troubles inside a Marietta dealership.
A Marietta car dealership now shut down. It happened after Atlanta News First investigates received a complaint about the dealership not processing customers' paperwork.
You know, we hear about this issue all the time. Even though Georgia law requires dealers to file tag and title paperwork within 30 days, dealers miss the deadline, the temp tag expires, and it's a mess. Wait, hold on. Don't close the gate. With a grin, the owner of Alliance Automotive Group shut us out. Alliance Automotive is a small, high-mileage used car lot on South Cobb Drive in Marietta. We were here because customers allege the owner isn't processing the paperwork for their tags and titles. That's a nice car.
Thank you.
A few months ago, Willie Lowe spotted one of those cars on his way to work. It's a 2012 white Hyundai Equus.
And it's beautiful. It's my baby.
Lowe is a City of Marietta sanitation employee who wanted something
Clean. It caught my eye, and I said, "Ooh, I want this car." So I went in and looked at the car and test drove it, and everything was fine.
Lowe paid $8,900 cash and signed the deal on June 7th. Really, it should have been a simple transaction. Georgia law requires car dealers to apply for a title transfer within 30 days, but it didn't happen. Lowe's temporary tag and the extension expired weeks ago.
Yeah, something wasn't right. I said, there's no way you should have 60 days without your title.
Kelly Kindle is a coworker and a friend who says we need to talk to the guy who closed that gate. Oh, you mean this guy?
As you can see, the state has his address at...
The owner's name is Dan Scher, and this time I didn't have to get out of my car for an explanation.
He saw it when he came in here and everything, but requires a notary.
So can I take this to him and he'll go get it notarized and bring it to you? Would that be easier?
He gave us the paperwork, but hold on. Atlanta News First Investigates uncovered complaints to police, the state's Consumer Protection Division, and the Better Business Bureau from customers who allege they didn't get their tags or titles. That led to my next question.
Are you guys still open?
Yeah, we're open.
That's odd, because they aren't supposed to be. In December, the state fined them $2,500, in part for not processing titles. And in July, it suspended Alliance Automotive's license pending a hearing.
You know your brokerage license has been suspended.
Our brokerage license is suspended.
Yes, it is. We called the Secretary of State's office with lots of questions. And the next day, the gate was locked, and a few days later, most of the inventory was gone.
I bought a car back in May of this year.
It was bad news for Nick Jones and his mom, Nicole, who drove an hour and a half from Jefferson, Georgia.
And you were staking this out?
Yes, my mother and I are staking it out.
Waiting for him to tell you where your title is?
Yes, sir.
Nick paid cash for his 2017 Honda Pilot, but like Mr. Lowe, he never got the title and his temporary tag expired.
How do you feel about all this?
We feel kind of betrayed. It's not fair.
Frustrated.
Very irritated, frustrated.
And what about Willie Lowe?
I feel terrible. I feel mistreated. You know, this my transportation get back for to work.
Based on our conversation with the owner, he could be waiting a while.
You don't have a license until your hearing.
Oh, that's not true. Well, look, I'll check into that, but that's his thing. But we'll check into that. Thank you.
At least we got that form to finalize Mr. Lowe's title.
Have him come and notarize this.
Until he took it back.
The rest of that story coming up.
Metro Atlanta drivers outrage after they bought used cars but could not get their tags or titles.
The Marietta dealership shut down after an Atlanta News First investigation, but the story isn't over.
You got this when? Today?
Yesterday.
Yesterday?
In the mail.
On the day that we aired our story?
Yes.
Willie Lowe, a City of Marietta sanitation worker, is an Atlanta News First success story. Following our investigation, the owner of Alliance Automotive Group FedExed his title and the paperwork Mr. Lowe needs to register his 2014 Hyundai Equus. This car is sweet.
And it's beautiful. It's my baby.
In early June, Lowe paid cash for the car, but says since then, it's been one delay after another. Kelly Kindle is a friend and a co-worker who contacted us for help.
This should have come to you, this title, a long time ago.
Right.
Sure should have. 60 days ago.
How do you feel about getting this now?
I feel relief. I feel grateful. I feel stress-free.
Paying cash for a car should be a simple transaction because there's no financing. But when we went to Alliance Automotive Group for answers, Dan Scher, one of the owners, closed the gate and shut us out. Are you the owner? We came back and tried speaking with the other owner, Mazar Gonzalez Ortiz, but Mr. Ortiz didn't respond. Not at first. We didn't get it until we learned they weren't supposed to be selling cars because in early July, the State Used Vehicle Dealers Board suspended their broker's license.
I bought a car back in May of this year.
Nick Jones and his mom, Nicole, drove an hour and a half from Jefferson, Georgia.
And you were staking this out?
Yes, my mother and I are staking it out.
waiting for him to tell you where your title is.
Yes, sir.
Nick paid cash for his 2017 Honda Pilot, but like Mr. Lowe, he never got the title and his temporary tag expired.
How do you feel about all this?
We feel kind of betrayed. It's not fair.
Frustrated.
Very irritated, frustrated.
That day, Alliance Automotive removed its business sign, and about a week later, all the cars were gone. Since then, we've heard from other Alliance Automotive customers who claim they never got their tags or titles. Mr. Scher wasn't fazed, emailing, "You are an idiot if you think we closed due to your investigation. Our lease is up, and after 9 years, I get to relax and enjoy. Continue bringing that hard-hitting news." But Mr. Ortiz, Mr. Scher's partner, chose an explanation over insults. Titles are in the process of being handled. Thank you for reaching out. Mr. Jones should have his title by the end of the week. It's great news for Mr. Jones, and Mr. Lowe doesn't have to worry anymore about being pulled over for an expired temporary tag. This Marietta sanitation worker legally owns the cleanest car in town.
I just want to say congratulations.
Thank you so much, Harry.
You know what?
You're a lifesaver.
I'm glad you got this.
I won't trade you for a can of paint.
Here's the takeaway. Before you buy a used car, find out who holds the title, get the contact information, look for online complaints. If a dealer is not processing the paperwork within 30 days, you'll see a pattern.
Wow, Harry, what a story. I found myself shocked and a little tickled by the response from the dealer. After your investigation, this place gets shut down, but the dealer says, don't flatter yourself, Harry. This is all over his landlord and the tenant and the lease expiring from this point.
Yeah, and the owner was saying basically, Harry, I'm out, I'm done. So you didn't really do anything. But the bottom line is that following our investigation, things started happening. The place definitely closed. They're definitely under suspension, although they were not under suspension when they sold the cars that we were talking about. And we also have another update. We know that the first person in the story, Mr. Lowe, Willie Lowe, got his title. Because we got involved and it was FedEx, as you saw. So it's been a little while now. The second owner in the story, who just happened to be there when we were there, also got his title FedEx to him this week. And the problem with that is, you would think, great, he's got his title. He went to go register the car, but he couldn't because the dealership is under suspension and they tried to process it electronically, but because of the suspension, they couldn't get it through. This whole thing is just a pain. We don't know if, it sounds like they're shut down for good, but there's still a hearing. We don't know if they're going to go or not, but we'll continue to follow the story.
Yeah, that brings me to the next point. So they're suspended pending this hearing. What's the status? Is that something that typically gets resolved in a matter of days, matter of weeks, or years?
Well, the last fine that they had was back in December. And if you don't pay the fine, part of this was, not paying that fine. So if you don't pay the fine and then they schedule, I think that's why you end up where you are, where they basically lock you, the state board, the regulation board for used cars. You have to have access to a system if you're a broker or a dealer so that you can process all of the paperwork and the titles. Well, if you get suspended, they shut you out of the system.
You're locked out.
That's what happened here. So could they get it back? I mean, possibly, but it sounds like they're done.
For the audience at home watching, what are the big takeaways if you're in the market to buy a new car?
So you've got to ask, if you're buying a car, who's processing the paperwork? Are you guys behind? Am I going to get this by the time that my temporary tag expires? Because your temporary tag's good for 45 days. They have to file the paperwork within 30 days. So let's say they file on day 30. Now you've got 2 weeks for them to process everything before your temporary tag is no good. Then you have to go in and ask for an extension. You get one extension. And when that expires, that's kind of it. And if you don't get the title, it really is a process. But it is a process you have to go through. We've got links on our website exactly how to do that.
Great takeaways. You know, I love all your stories, but I'm really eager to see the update on this one. Thanks so much, Harry.
Thank you.
You can listen to all of our extended conversations on these stories right now on our podcast, Behind the Investigation. Just search Atlanta News First on your favorite podcast platform. You're watching Uncovered by Atlanta News First Investigates, a weekly hour-long investigative show with new episodes launching every Sunday at 7.